The origins of Ayumi Tachibana. Hello YouTube, this is DenoxSeries speaking once again. I would like to give a moment to explain who is Ayumi Tachibana, so you can get a bit more familiar with her. Why am I talking about her, you may ask? Because she's actually a main Nintendo character from an obscure game called the Famicom Tantei Club, which can also be called the Famicom Detective Club. As the name implies, it's a mystery game where you play the role as a male character that you give the name yourself. Ayumi's game will fall in a similar category as the Professor Layton and Phoenix Wright game when it comes to solving a mystery. Let's now focus our attention to Ayumi Tachibana. It's a real shame because I searched her name on YouTube and almost no one has ever made a video dedicated to her. In case you do not remember her, check your trophies in Super Smash Bros. Melee and see if you can find her because she appears as a trophy dropping her briefcase getting scared of something. Ayumi's the heroine of the Detective Club games, which were made for the Famicom Disk System. In the first installment of the series, Ayumi solved the murder of one of her friends, and shortly thereafter, she opened her own investigative agency. Since those early days, she's proven to be a daring and peerless crime solver. The trophy's description had a few inaccuracies about the character. It states that in the first game, she solved the murder of her friend, when in actuality, that occurred in the second game. They could have been referring to the fact that the second game was actually a prequel to the first title. Next, they state that after solving the mystery behind her friend, she opened up her own agency, which is not true. Instead, she joined an already established agency as an assistant. Finally, the trophy says that she first appeared in the Famicom Detective Club Part 2, The Girl in the Back, when she actually first appeared in the Famicom Detective Club, The Missing Hair. And she actually is quite smart as a detective, as she is determined to find out who is the killer of her best friend, Yoko. This trophy that you saw in Melee could have been the one you would earn if you beat Classic Mode with Ayumi Tachibana. There are several people out there that believe that she should be a playable character in Super Smash Bros. And you know what? She actually could have been, since Sakurai was considering putting her in Melee alongside Takamaru, who would eventually be considered again for Super Smash Bros. For Wii U and 3DS. Being that both Ayumi and Takamaru are both obscure characters, they sadly did not make it in the game, making them stay obscure. There is actually a pretty accurate moveset that a fan called Angsty Guy made for Ayumi that could have been possible if she was put in Super Smash Bros. Another good example is one by a GameFAQs user called Vyers, who gave her a gimmick based on building confidence for a more serious attack in addition to an evidence collecting gimmicks for a special. Links to both of these sources are found in the description below this video. Do you know how Fire Emblem got popular in the US? Because Sakurai decided to keep Marth and Roy in Melee for the US release, and they originally considered taking them out. So my theory is that if Ayumi made it in Smash, she would have been pretty popular here by now, and fans would have been more curious on what her game is all about. I will leave a link of the English translation ROM hack of the Super NES version of Famicom Detective Club Part 2, The Girl in Back, which is actually the prequel of her first game, The Missing Hair, which never was released in English or had a remake. Sadly, her games were never ever released out of Japan, which is why she is extremely obscure. In fact, I can safely say that more than 80% of Nintendo fans probably don't know nothing of her. Being that her game is one of the only detective-based games that Nintendo ever produced, which is now being dependent of Level 5 with Professor Layton and Capcom's Phoenix Wright series to have a detective that is quite popular to fill in for Nintendo. You can say that Hotel Duck's Room 215 and Trace Memory, Nintendo's other obscure IPs being detective games, at least they got a localization to the States for the DS, but Ayumi's Famicom Detective Club did not. Now you know how obscure she is. The purpose of this video is not necessarily make sure she is a playable character in Super Smash Bros., but is to make Ayumi Tachibana and the Famicom Detective Club series more known to the masses. We plan to open Operation Tachibana to be sure that this video gets spread like wildfire. And you want to know the prize for the winner of this contest I'm about to announce? That's right, a Lucina Amiibo. You can see that I have it now in my hands, sealed and brand new. I want to be sure to ship it well to the winner in many protective bubble wraps and in a nice box. And I am planning to do a full-on review of the Super NES version of Famicom Detective Club, The Girl in Back. and we'll start working on this a few weeks after this video's release. Of course, the game review I would do of Famicom Detective Club will show all the entries of everyone who participates after it ends. Just to be clear with you all, I am not expecting her to show up as a playable character in Smash. Even if she can't be at least an assist trophy in the future, I would be happy. Takamaru did at least. The point of this video is to ensure that Ayumi gets the exposure she deserves because her game could be considered a masterpiece for many. And that's all I have to say about this video. Good luck on this contest and getting yourself a free Lucina Amiibo after all of this is over. Hope to see over 50 to 100 entries before this contest ends, but only time will tell. Take care, God bless, and stay cool. If you like this video, be sure to check out my other previous videos as well. See you there.